Hey Aries, I just pulled some cards about the future of your relationship with this person, and honestly, I need to share what came through because the energy here is really telling me something important. So I shuffled the deck with your question in mind, asking about where this connection is heading. And let me tell you, the universe had quite a bit to say. Before I dive into the specific cards, I want you to know that whatever comes through here is meant to guide you, not scare you or give you false hope. This is about understanding the trajectory of this connection and what you might need to be aware of as things unfold. The cards are showing me layers of this situation, and some of it might surprise you, alright. So the first card that came out is the Four of Cups. When I pulled this one, I immediately felt this sense of someone being a bit disconnected or not fully present. This card is interesting because it speaks to emotional withdrawal or someone who is not fully appreciating what is right in front of them. In the context of your relationship future with this person, the Four of Cups is suggesting that there might be a phase where one of you, possibly this other person, is going through some internal contemplation or dissatisfaction. What I am picking up here is that this person might be in a space where they are feeling unfulfilled or like something is missing, even if everything on the surface looks okay. You know that feeling when you have all these options or opportunities around you, but somehow none of them feel quite right? That is the Four of Cups energy. They might be so caught up in their own thoughts or past disappointments that they are not fully seeing the potential of what you two could build together. This does not necessarily mean they do not care about you. It is more like they are distracted by their own inner world. Maybe they have been hurt before, maybe they are questioning what they really want, or maybe they are just going through a phase where they need to figure things out for themselves. The Four of Cups often appears when someone needs to do some soul searching before they can fully commit or engage in a relationship. What is important for you to understand here is that this emotional distance or contemplation on their part is not really about you or your worth. This is their journey, their process. The card is showing me that in the near future of this relationship, there might be moments where you feel like you are offering something genuine, and they are just not receptive to it. They might seem indifferent or like they are looking elsewhere, even if there is nowhere better to look. The advice with the Four of Cups is to give them space to work through whatever they need to work through, but also to not lose yourself waiting for someone to wake up and see what is right in front of them. You deserve someone who is present and enthusiastic about building something with you. If this person needs time to figure out if that person is them, that is valid, but you also need to honor your own needs and timeline. I am also seeing that this card might be highlighting a period where communication becomes a bit stagnant. Like you might reach out or try to connect, and the responses feel lukewarm or delayed. This is frustrating, I know, but it is part of their processing. The Four of Cups is asking you to be patient, but also to maintain your sense of self-worth throughout this phase. Now, the second card I pulled is the Tower. And this one honestly made me pause for a moment because the Tower is not a subtle card. This is one of those cards that shows up when something significant needs to shake loose, or when a structure that was not built on solid ground starts to crumble. In terms of your relationship future with this person, the Tower is indicating that there is going to be some kind of disruption or revelation that changes the game entirely. This could manifest in a few different ways. It might be that some truth comes to light that neither of you were aware of, or it could be that external circumstances force you both to confront the reality of your situation. The Tower does not mess around. It clears away illusions and forces you to see things as they really are. Not as you hoped they would. Be what I am sensing with the Tower in this position is that there might be a moment of crisis or sudden change that either brings you closer together in a real way or shows you that this connection cannot withstand certain pressures. The Tower has this quality of stripping away pretense and false foundations. If this relationship is built on genuine connection and mutual respect, the Tower moment might actually clear away obstacles and bring you closer. But if there are underlying issues, misunderstandings, or if one person is not being honest about their feelings or intentions, the Tower will expose all of that. This card is telling me that the future of this relationship involves a significant turning point. Something is going to happen that forces both of you to be completely real with each other. No more games, no more wondering, no more half-truths. The Tower brings everything to the surface whether you are ready for it or not. I want to be clear that the Tower is not necessarily a bad thing, even though it can feel intense or scary. Sometimes we need that catalyst to break through patterns that are not serving us. Sometimes we need that wake-up call to see what is actually happening versus what we have been telling ourselves. The Tower clears the path for something more authentic to emerge, but it does require letting go of whatever was not real or sustainable. In practical terms, this might look like a big conversation that has been avoided finally happening, or it might be an external event that tests the relationship in an unexpected way. It could be a revelation about feelings, a change in circumstances, or a moment where you both have to decide if you are truly in this together or not. The key with the Tower is that you cannot control it. You can only move through it with as much honesty and courage as possible. The third card here is Temperance. And this is actually a really beautiful card to see after the Tower because it speaks to healing, balance, and finding a middle path. Temperance is all about moderation, patience, and blending different elements to create harmony. In the context of your relationship future, this card is suggesting that after whatever upheaval or truth comes through with the Tower, there is an opportunity for real balance and healing if both people are willing to do the work. Temperance is interesting because it is not about grand gestures or intense passion. It is about the steady, consistent effort to find equilibrium. This card is showing me that the future of this relationship might require both of you to practice patience and to learn how to meet each other in the middle. It is about compromise, but not in a way where anyone loses themselves. It is about blending your individual needs and desires to create something that works for both of you. What I am picking up is that there might be a period after the Tower moment, where you both have to consciously work on rebuilding trust or reestablishing connection. Temperance suggests that this is possible, but it requires both people to be willing to be flexible and to communicate openly about what they need. This is not a quick fix. It is a gradual process of learning to balance your energies and find a rhythm that feels sustainable. Temperance also has this quality of alchemy, of taking different ingredients and mixing them to create something new. In your relationship, this might mean that you both need to evolve and adapt. Maybe you need to find new ways of relating to each other, or maybe you need to integrate lessons from past experiences to create a healthier dynamic. The card is telling me that there is potential for something really beautiful here, but it requires conscious effort and a willingness to grow. I am also sensing with Temperance that timing is going to be important. This card often appears when we need to slow down and not rush things. If you have been feeling impatient about where this relationship is going, Temperance is asking you to trust the process and understand that some things cannot be forced. Healing takes time, building trust takes time, and creating a solid foundation takes time. The good news is that Temperance suggests that if you both are willing to invest that time and energy, there is real potential for something lasting and balanced. The fourth card that came through is the Nine of Swords, and I have to be honest with you, this one is showing me that there is some significant anxiety or worry connected to the future of this relationship. The Nine of Swords is the card of sleepless nights, overthinking, and mental anguish. This tells me that regardless of what actually happens between you and this person, there is going to be a period where you or possibly both of you are dealing with a lot of internal stress about the situation. This card often appears when our fears are louder than reality. You might find yourself lying awake at night replaying conversations, analyzing every little thing they said or did not say, wondering what it all means. The Nine of Swords is brutal because it represents that state, where your mind is running wild with worst-case scenarios and you cannot seem to quiet it down. What I want you to understand about the Nine of Swords is that the worry it represents is often worse than the actual reality. This card shows up to alert you that you are torturing yourself with thoughts that may not even be accurate. You might be imagining all these terrible outcomes or convincing yourself that things are worse than they are. The challenge with the Nine of Swords is learning to distinguish between legitimate concerns and anxiety spirals that are not productive. In terms of your relationship future, this card is suggesting that there will be moments where uncertainty or lack of clarity causes you significant distress. Maybe this person is not being straightforward about their feelings. Maybe there are situations you cannot control, or maybe you are just worried about getting hurt. Whatever the specific trigger, the Nine of Swords is showing that this worry is going to be a real factor in how this relationship unfolds. The advice here is to find ways to ground yourself when the anxiety hits. Talk to trusted friends, journal about your feelings, practice mindfulness, or whatever helps you get out of your head. The Nine of Swords wants you to recognize when you are spiraling and to actively work on calming your nervous system. This relationship future might involve some genuine challenges, yes, but torturing yourself with worst-case scenarios is not going to help you navigate them. I am also picking up that this card might be highlighting a need for honest communication. A lot of the anxiety represented by the Nine of Swords comes from not knowing where you stand. If there are questions you need to ask this person or conversations you need to have to get clarity, the card is encouraging you to speak up rather than letting your imagination fill in the blanks with nightmare scenarios. The fifth card is the Three of Wands, and this energy feels much more hopeful and forward-looking. The Three of Wands is about expansion, looking toward the horizon, and having a vision for what could be. After all the internal processing, upheaval, and anxiety we have seen in the previous cards, the Three of Wands suggests that there is potential for this relationship to grow into something bigger if certain conditions are met. This card often appears when we have planted seeds and are now waiting to see what will grow. It has this quality of patient optimism, of trusting that your efforts will bear fruit even if you cannot see the results yet. In your relationship context, the Three of Wands is telling me that there is a future where you and this person could build something meaningful together. But it requires both of you to be looking in the same direction and working toward common goals. What I am sensing is that the Three of Wands represents a phase where the relationship starts to feel more stable and you can begin to make plans or envision a shared future. This might come after you have both worked through whatever the Tower brought up and after you have found some balance with Temperance. The Three of Wands says that once you get through the challenging parts, there is potential for real growth and expansion. This card also suggests that you might need to take a leadership role in clarifying your vision for the relationship. What do you want? What are you willing to work toward? The Three of Wands encourages you to be clear about your intentions and to communicate them. It is about taking initiative while also being patient enough to let things develop naturally. I am picking up that this card might also represent a time when you start to see the fruits of your patience and efforts. Maybe after a period of uncertainty, things start to click into place. Maybe you both finally get on the same page about what you want. Maybe opportunities for growth present themselves. The Three of Wands has this quality of things opening up and expanding, of moving from a place of limitation to a place of possibility. The key with the Three of Wands is that it requires you to maintain your vision and not give up too soon. If you believe this relationship has potential, you need to be willing to invest in it, while also staying open to how things unfold. This card is optimistic, but it is not passive. It asks you to be an active participant in creating the future you want. The final card I pulled for you is the Knight of Swords, and this one brings a very different energy to the reading. The Knight of Swords is fast, direct, and sometimes a bit aggressive in pursuit of truth or goals. This card is telling me that at some point in the future of this relationship, there is going to be a moment of swift action or direct communication that cuts through all the uncertainty. The Knight of Swords does not waste time with subtlety. When this energy shows up, it is about getting straight to the point and dealing with reality head-on. This could manifest as you or this other person finally having the courage to speak your truth clearly, or it could represent external circumstances that force clarity in a rapid way. Either way, the Knight of Swords suggests that there will be a moment where things move very quickly and decisively. What I am picking up is that this card might represent a turning point where someone, possibly you, decides that enough is enough with the ambiguity, and it is time to get real answers. The Knight of Swords has this quality of cutting through confusion with sharp clarity. If you have been dancing around certain topics or if there has been a lot of uncertainty, this energy comes in and demands truth. The challenge with the Knight of Swords is that while clarity is good, this energy can sometimes be too forceful or lacking in sensitivity. There might be a risk of conversations becoming heated or of one person being too blunt in a way that feels harsh. The card is asking you to find the balance between being direct and being considerate. You can speak your truth without being cruel, and you can demand clarity without being aggressive. In terms of timing, the Knight of Swords suggests that when this energy hits, things will move fast. Decisions might be made quickly, conversations might escalate rapidly, or circumstances might change in an unexpected way that requires immediate response. This is not a slow and steady energy. This is rapid movement and swift action. The positive aspect of the Knight of Swords is that it brings clarity and cuts through illusion. If you have been stuck in a limbo or if things have felt unclear for too long, this energy comes in to resolve that. The question is whether both people are ready for that level of directness and truth. The card is showing me that regardless of readiness, this moment is coming, and it will force both of you to be honest about where you stand and what you want. So looking at all 6 cards together, the story of your relationship future with this person is pretty complex. You have someone who might be emotionally withdrawn or contemplative at first with the 4 of Cups. Then some kind of major disruption or truth-revealing moment with the Tower, followed by an opportunity for balance and healing with Temperance. Throughout this journey, there is significant anxiety with the 9 of Swords, but also potential for growth and expansion with the 3 of Wands, and ultimately a moment of swift clarity and direct action with the Knight of Swords. What this tells me is that the future of this relationship is not going to be smooth or predictable. There are going to be challenges, moments of crisis, periods of anxiety, and times when you question whether it is worth it. But there is also potential for real growth, healing, and ultimately clarity about where you both stand. The key is whether both of you are willing to do the work, be honest, and move through the difficult parts together. The cards are not giving me a simple yes or no answer about whether this relationship will succeed. Instead, they are showing me the journey, the process, the challenges, and opportunities that lie ahead. The outcome depends on how both of you navigate these energies. If you can both be patient during the 4 of Cups phase, courageous during the Tower moment, committed to balance with Temperance, manage your anxiety with the 9 of Swords, maintain vision with the 3 of Wands, and communicate clearly when the Knight of Swords energy arrives, then there is real potential here. But I also want to be real with you. This reading is showing me that this relationship is going to require significant effort and emotional resilience from both people. If either of you is not ready or willing to do that work, the challenges might be too much. The cards are showing possibilities, but you and this person have free will to choose how you respond to these energies. My advice based on this reading is to stay grounded in your own worth throughout this journey. Do not lose yourself trying to make someone see your value. Be honest about what you need and deserve. Communicate clearly but compassionately. Be willing to do the work if they are also willing, but do not carry the entire burden of the relationship on your shoulders. And most importantly, trust that whatever unfolds is ultimately guiding you toward what is meant for you, whether that is with this person or not. I hope this reading gave you some insight into what might be coming. Remember that tarot shows possibilities and energies, not fixed destinies. You have the power to influence how things unfold through your choices and actions. Trust yourself and trust the process.